Hey, I hope your day's off to a nice start. My name's Justin. I'm with Terminal Steel and Equipment, and we're making these videos to help inform our customers and anybody who's interested in pallet racking a little bit more about how things work. We've been in the business for more than 70 years in Detroit, Michigan. We've got multiple generations of the family working here, and we at one point were the nation's largest supplier of pallet rack. Nowadays, we do a ton of business through the Midwest, and we're always here to help with our expertise and our large stock to be able to get the right pallet racking to you, the right price in no time. So, in front of me and behind me, I have some examples of what we sell here at Terminal Steel and Equipment. We have a couple different kinds of pallet rack. Everything that we're selling now is teardrop style pallet rack. So what that means is the attachment points for the beams all are these teardrop shape, which allow the beams to easily slide in, click, and be securely fastened without the need for additional tools. The only thing you might need is good old rubber mallet. Beyond that, a few guys and a little bit of time, and you've got yourself a pallet rack. Now, unlike traditional big box store shelving, pallet racking doesn't typically come as a unit. We help customers design what they need for their warehouse and their space and their needs, and then we sell them the complete package, which is typically comprised of a number of different components. Now, those components are typically an upright, your beam, and then any kind of wire decking or pallet support bar that you might need to support the load that you're putting onto those racks. However, there are a number of other things you can buy in addition, add on to your pallet rack to either increase the safety of your rack, to increase the usability of your rack, or to just generally make your rack a little bit more practical and functional for your application. Some of those things: concrete anchors. You can see on these pallet racks, you've got flanges on the feet that allow you to drill into your concrete and use these anchors, which go into the concrete. The rack sits on top and then gets bolted down onto to make sure that your rack's not going anywhere. Now, even if your pallet rack is anchored, the right blow from a high-low or from a truck could obviously send anything flying anywhere. However, we do sell some products that also can help with the safety in terms of collisions. We have a few different types of post protectors, they're called, from the metal one you can see down here that bolts directly into the concrete, allowing for a really high level of security, to some plastic bumper guards that just clip right on, to some other bigger plastic Velcro guards that go right over the upright of your rack. One of the biggest things we see, especially in busy warehouses, is that high-low drivers can, from time to time, back into or bump into a rack, and a bent upright greatly compromises the safety and the capacity of that rack. So we always recommend replacing bent beams and uprights. They can be repaired. We don't do those repairs here, but we are more than happy to make sure that you're outfitted with something that will replace the broken or damaged piece in a way that will allow you to continue operating safely. A couple more add-ons that we sell here at Terminal Steel: row spacers. These allow you to evenly space and secure your rows to one another. And then also, something that's becoming more and more popular: casters. We have a number of different casters, rigid and swivel, and we are able to weld casters right to the bottom of uprights, right onto the flange, which allow for movable mobile racks. These are becoming increasingly popular in places where space is a concern, and really one of our number one customers or customer groups are people in the cannabis industry who have been using our racking and especially our mobile racks for growing of cannabis and hemp and other related products. What we have in front of us here are two different types of uprights, and these are both really common in the racking world today. And you'll see this side has bolt-on support bars, and this side has welded. Now, everything we're going to carry new is of the welded type, and we do that for a few different reasons. We feel like it's a little bit more secure when it comes to shipping. The bolts on these can sometimes loosen as they rattle along the road, causing the uprights to shift, which then obviously needs to be fixed upon delivery. With the welded uprights, we never have those issues. So that's typically what we stick with when it comes to our new sales. However, if you come to us looking for used equipment, we may or may not have some of this in stock, and we could set you up with that if you would like. However, both of these you'll see have that teardrop style attachment, which allows you to take your beam with those teardrops, and with either one, you're able to secure it in place as so. I'll show you on this side as well. So either beam, same style, they're compatible across the board. And our beams are almost always, again, if you're buying used, they're always compatible with each other. And if they're not, we'll let you know ahead of time. But typically everything we're selling is cross-compatible. You may notice that some of our beams have a different security latch. So on these beams, it's a pin that pulls, spring-loaded pin. Whereas these beams, you're looking at this safety clip. They accomplish the same thing and are both as secure as you would ever need them to be. They just look a little bit different. An example of a complete unit where we have our upright, our beams, and our wire deck on top. Now, depending on your situation and your use, you may or may not need wire decking. You are able to place pallets directly on top of the beams if your widths and pallet size match. The wire decking allows for a more sturdy shelf surface, and our wire decking all has the pallet support built right in. Now, we use step beams, which you can see here. That means that when you look at the side of the beam, you have this step down. So the wire decking has the pallet support channels that sit right on that step. While it is in fact double waterfall, meaning on both sides you can see it has the nice drop to sit on top of the beam, this is not what supports the weight of your load. The weight is supported by these pallet support channels. So these need to be able to rest on that step in order to properly support the load. We are able to get decking that has the universal channel where it sits on top of the beam, which also allows you to use it with a box style beam, which is missing that step, or a step beam. However, our typical stock decking does not have that flange and just rests on the step of the step beam. The universal decking with that support flange is available. It is at a higher cost, so we do not typically stock it, but we are able to order it for anybody that needs it. The other option one would have is to utilize a pallet support bar. Now this bar is clearly too long for this piece of pallet rack, but it essentially serves the same purpose. It sits over top these beams with the flange and allows you to create additional support spaces for your load, your pallet, your box, whatever you may be putting on the rack. Now, the decking, pallet support bars, any of these things will not increase the overall capacity of your pallet rack. They will increase the usability. You don't have to worry so much about things falling through. You don't have to worry about, a high-low driver missing by a couple of inches and having a pallet tip over into your rack, or anything of that nature. Thank you for watching. We're here via phone or email if you'd like a quote.